Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Augustina. If this is your first time of tuning in, you are highly welcome. But if this is not your first time, I want you to know that I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart for being of great support to me on this platform. I am filming from the island of Malta, where I am on a 5 days, vacation. Today is question and answer. And while I'm taking my breakfast, I just want to use that opportunity also to answer some of your questions, because I know that a lot of people that are following me or that are watching me have a lot of questions in their mind to ask, and most of these people don't have the opportunity to meet me on one-on-one to ask these questions. So, but I have had occasions where people ask me 1 or 2 questions, and if you have any other question to ask, because definitely I'm not going to answer all the questions in this video today, but if you have questions about relationship, you can send me a private message. I will answer your questions. So, but today I want to focus on these few questions that I have come across, people who ask me these questions. I'm going to answer them sincerely from the bottom of my heart, because I believe that it's not just about me. There are people out there who are watching this video, listening to me answering these questions, might learn a great deal of information or wisdom or idea on how to go about their own personal issues in terms of relationships. So I am not answering this question because I just want to impress anyone, or I'm not going to answer these questions as if it's just all about me. No, I am mindful and conscious of the fact that there are other people who are going to watch this video who right now are in crisis, or who right now need help, but they don't know how or where. So I just want to throw light on these issues, hoping that someone is going to be blessed. And if this is the kind of video you would like to watch, then you are welcome on this platform. You just sit back and relax and let's go through. Don't leave without watching the video to the end, because you risk missing an important information. It could be important to you, it could be important to someone you know. If you haven't done that already, subscribe to my channel, and also press the notification button so that each time I upload new content, you will be the first to be notified. And don't forget to share this video with someone out there who needs to hear this. Right, so let's just go straight to the question. I will be taking my breakfast while I answer some of these questions. So the first question is, why did you quit after 25 years? It baffles people to see that I'm able to quit my marriage after a long time, because 25 years is a very long time. 25 years is not, quitting after 25 years is not, it's not something that you just wake up one day and you say, okay, I'm quitting my marriage, because 25 years means you have invested a lot in that relationship. You have invested financially, you have invested, emotionally, you have invested spiritually, you have invested, in every aspect of your life. You have invested, you have, both in finance, both your energy. So when you get into the relationship, your body has a different shape, because 25 years is very long. And after 25 years, you are coming out with a different shape, right? We were blessed with 5 kids during these 25 years. So it wasn't an easy decision. It wasn't something that really just happened all of a sudden. This is what I'm trying to, to say. I didn't just wake up one morning and say, okay, I'm quitting. I'm leaving this man. I don't want to marry him again. No, it didn't happen that way. For me to have waited for 25 years before calling it a day means that I must have given it all, my all. I must have tried all that I could possibly try. And as somebody who I was raised not in a family that I could define as a Christian family, because my father wasn't a Christian, but my mom is a Christian, a dedicated Anglican Christian. But before she becomes an Anglican, when I was, growing up with my siblings, my mom used to take us to, a Pentecostal church. When we were in Kano State, she used to take us to, this Deeper Life Church. And if you are a Nigerian and if you grew up in a Nigerian, Christian congregations, you will know that Deeper Life, they have these strict rules and regulations, in raising up their guests. So between the age of 5, 6, because at that age I started to understand little things. So from the age of 5 to 12 years, or even up to 13 years, we are going to this Deeper Life Church with my mom. I could remember the first time that I saw the film of how Jesus Christ was, nailed. I cried for 1 week. I don't know who Jesus Christ was. Maybe I should be around that 7 years or 8 years. But the way he was being beaten, the stripes on his body, on his flesh, everything, the blood, and then finally they put this, the crown of thorns on his head. The blood was gushing, and he was praying for those people that were killing him. With that childhood mind, with that childhood eyes, and with my little brain, I could not really understand everything, but I fell in love with that man who, even after all that they did to him, he was able to say, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. It was like everything changed. I fall in love with Jesus, because growing up in a Muslim country, because Kano State is a Muslim country, and I was going to school with other Muslim children, and where sometimes we are forced to read the Quran, and I have friends as Muslims, so it was very easy for me to have this, to adapt a different mindset, like beliefs and values that are not that which my mom believes in. But her always taking me to, Deeper Life. During Christmas, they will always show this film of Jesus Christ repeatedly. Indirectly, my subconscious was being reprogrammed, and I was like, I just fall in love. Apart from reading the Quran or staying with Muslim children, watching them pray, and all those things, yeah, it never made an impact in my life like when I watched the Jesus film, or the Moses crossing the Red Sea, and I started to become curious about this superior being, this wonder, invisible wonder man that they always look up to for that miracle, that last minute miracle, or that last minute breakthrough, or even that super man, that father, invisible father, that's like could even give you that grace to be able to forgive those that are treating you bad. And that was how the foundation was laid. And for me now to grow up as a Christian, although not having a complete Christian background, because my father, as I said, is not a Christian, but my mother is a very good Christian woman. And when we finally, at the age of, I was 14 years when we finally relocated to my village, to my hometown, I don't know what really happened. I I never asked her, but I realized that she started attending Anglican church, probably because that was where her mother or the friends, I don't know, were attending. So she joined. And later on, she, brought my dad into Anglican. But I guess my dad just wanted to please her, and they got wedded, in church. And that was all. So I have this Christian background, and I grew up with that belief in me, So for me to have left my marriage after 25 years, it means that I must have prayed, I must have fasted, I must have, sought counseling. To many pastors, I put in all the work. 25 years is enough. More than enough for you to, it's more than enough for you to understand that it is no longer working. It will never work. Putting in more work, trying to work harder, trying to, it will end up jeopardizing your health, your mental health, your emotional health, and your overall, well-being. And that was what happened. I was pushing it. I was like indirectly forcing it to work, forcing it to function, trying to fix my man, trying to, well, I don't know if that is love. I don't know. If that is love, for sure it wasn't love for me. Because if I had loved myself, I would have quitted that marriage after 5 years or 10 years, because I started having issues, after 5 years, more or less. And I was hoping and believing that by the time, I was hoping and believing that with time he will change. I was hoping and believing that maybe because he's not realized, he still needs to put things in order. He's not, so to say, well doing. The family has a big expectations on him. So I was hoping that maybe if I help him, if I support him, and that mindset, I started to work hard, I started to look for jobs, I started to do this, do that. And yes, I've got jobs, and I was doing from one job to I got to a point I was even doing 2-3 jobs, to just support him. And the first business he did in Italy, I was the one that sponsored the business, And I came to a point that I realized that no matter the amount of money I invested in him, in his business, and no matter the amount of love I show him, both in bed or outside the bed, whatever I do, a man that will stay, even without anything. And a man that will not stay, no matter what you do, you will end up, no matter what you do, he will still live. No matter the amount of money you give him, no matter the amount of children you give him, no matter the amount of sex you give him, he will never love you. So when I finally realized this bitter truth, I decided that I have no other option than to at least save me first, to rescue me, and also not being so much, too selfish of thinking only about me, the status, what will people say, I'm a Christian, woman, I am an evangelist, what would people say, all of this is just all about me, my insecurity, my fears, my discomfort. What about my children? What about my children? So I have to also think about them, think about their well-being, their psychological well-being, their mental well-being, and I don't want this to, affect them, because as I'm forcing myself to make the marriage work, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, I was dragging these children along with me, and I was breaking them, unconsciously, unknowingly. I was breaking my children mentally, emotionally, psychologically. I was raising up children that tomorrow would have become a broken adults. If you look into the society today, you will see a lot of broken adults. difficult to mend. Just as the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. When he is when he is of age, he will not depart from it, from that. And that is why it is very difficult to mend an adult. If you can't mend a child, when he or she is growing up, you can't possibly, it becomes difficult. Let me not just use the word impossible, because nothing is impossible. So it is better to mend them when they are, yet mendable. So I decided to also think about my children, to save my children, and to give them at least a better, future by creating a better and a healthy environment where they will grow. So I quit not just because of me alone, I quit because of my children, most especially because of them. Because after 25 years, I was no longer living. I was living for my children. I thought I was living for my children. I thought I was, doing them a favor by staying in that marriage, because I wanted all of us to stay together. But indirectly, I was doing them more harm than good. I hope this has answered your question. I try to answer it as much as I can. So, not easy, right? It's so emotional when you are answering this kind of question, because it takes you back to memories that, but I thank God for healing. I can share this now. I can talk about it without, feeling going so emotional or feeling so bad. Okay, let's go to the second question, which says, you are such a, excuse me. Let's go to the second question. You are such an intelligent woman. This is what somebody asked me someday. It said, you are such an intelligent woman. I mean, you have all it takes to make it work. Why didn't you try the more? Actually, what he was asking me to do was to try more harder, to try harder, as if I haven't tried enough, or as if I didn't try enough. I believe that, after 25 years, I don't know about any other superhero woman, or superwoman, I don't know, who is still, trying to make it work, trying to push it after 25 years. But in my own case, I wasn't all that, superhuman, I wasn't all that. Yeah, it's not easy, answering these questions. But I believe that I've grown enough, I've grown strong enough to be able to answer these questions without so much difficulty. Although, these are questions that will always take you back, your memories will always take you back to go and revisit those, hard moments. But yeah, I will answer these questions. I've made up my mind to answer them. So, okay. Yeah, I might be intelligent. I might be beautiful. I might be hardworking, industrious. I might be, a woman who knows how to, keep clean. A woman not only keep clean, on the outer, wall, like your physical body, but I'm a woman who also know how to keep the house clean. And when I say keep the house clean, I mean keep the house tidy, neat, put things in order. I could remember when my friends used to visit me those days, and they would say, how do you manage to keep your house like this without, a house help? And having a lot of children, children running around, running up and down, children can destroy things, they can scatter the house, And how do you manage? And it is not that you are a stay-at-home mom, you also have a full-time job. How do you manage? And knowing you very well, because we are friends, your husband is not the type that helps at this like domestic works, and he's also working. At the early, the from the first year that we came to Italy to almost like 10 years we are in Italy, he was working, you know, and he was also doing full-time job. And sometimes when he left his job, he was into business, so he do travel home to and fro. And sometimes when he travels home, he stays like 3 months. There was a time he stayed 7 months. And how do you manage to keep your house home without anybody helping you? So yeah, you can be everything. I'm saying this not to, you know, pride myself or like impress anybody. That is the simplest truth I can, you know. You can ask anybody who knows me, who has visited my house or who used to come to, you know, my house in those days. I'm a woman who loves to, in the environment where I'm staying, it matters a lot. And I believe I took that from my mom. Even at her age, my mom is roughly above 70 years now. And I remember last time I went home, she couldn't stay even to discuss with me because she was trying to tidy up things. She was trying to keep the whole place tidy. And I was like, Mom, you have grown up girls, we are all women now. You know, some of us married with children. Many of my sisters are all graduates. So why? And we all came together. It was during Christmas. So why are you still doing this? I mean, you have children who can do all these things. You have grandchildren who can do all this. So why are you doing it? My mother says that there's this adage she always used to say. She said that a woman never grew old in a dance she knows very well. So I believe that you can put in all the works you think in the whole world. If it is not for you, it is not for you. Believe me. I tried all I could. I did everything. And what I didn't do was allow myself to die. And I mean real death, because I got to that point where I almost gave up. I was so stressed out. I was always in tension, you know, tension. I was always having tension because having to, you know, manage my 2 shops and have children to take care of, the home to take care of, a husband to, you know, struggle with, and trying to please him, you know, and also my full-time job. I exhausted my energy. I exhausted my health. I jeopardized my health. I neglected my health. It gets to a point I was no longer living. I was just living for him, for the children, for the home, you know. And the more I do it, the more it's like, the more I'm trying to please him, the more he's pushing me to the wall, you know, because of his, I believe it's mostly because of his insecurity and fears. I don't know. But he was so insecure that no matter what I was doing to help the family to grow, even in terms of finance, because having the 2 shops that I opened with my money, hard-earned money, not that somebody dash it to me, you know, or I pick it on the street. I have to work and, you know, use my pay slip, go to the bank and, you know, borrow this money and use the money to open these shops. But I ended up in debt, over 60,000 euro of debt, because no matter what I did, the shop couldn't stand, and he wasn't having the capacity to, like, you know, make the shop to grow. And instead, he left his job when he couldn't manage his business going to and fro to Nigeria. So he left his job, and at the end, what he did was abandon everything to me. He stayed almost 11 years with 5 children without doing any job. I don't believe that the shop could, you know, sponsor all his expenditures, being a shop that I'm just, you know, trying to raise up. This is not to demean him or to, you know, talk bad of him. I try to avoid that, you know. because it doesn't earn me any credit. It doesn't help me in any way, you know, if I talk bad of him. So, but what I'm trying to say is that, could you imagine 11 good years a woman taking care of her children, 5 children, and with him? Because when he's not working for these 11 years, it means that somebody has to pay the bill, somebody has to pay the rent, somebody has to put food on the table, somebody has to manage the shop, somebody has to also clothe him. You know, you can't wear one shirt and one jeans and sneakers for 11 years. They will worn out, and so you have to replace them. And somebody has to be there to do all these things. And I ended up being like a sugar mommy to him. I ended up being like, I don't know, like a slave. I felt like a slave in my own home. And I don't believe that this could be of any joy to any woman. This couldn't be of a place for anyone to stay. There won't be joy in that home. There won't be happiness. There won't be peace in that home. There will always be this tension, stress, you know. It jeopardize our sexual life. We no longer have, you know, intimacy like couples. You know, a lot of things, you know, broke down. And yeah, I gave it all. I did everything. My beauty wasn't enough for him. My intelligence wasn't enough for him. On the contrary, I believe that he feels so insecure of my, you know, being that intelligent, you know. And I also believe that sometimes a man just feels he's okay with the way his life is. And if he senses that underneath you are kind of somebody that has, you know, this, I don't know if to use ambition, you know, because I really want a better life for me and my family. I really want to be in that position where I can help my people back home. I really want to be in a position where I don't want my children to go through all that I went through growing up, having to sell granite and banana to pay my school fees, having to, you know, carry cement to people who are building uncompleted buildings, you know, all those things, to buy myself a pad, my menstrual pad, you know, to buy myself underwears. I don't want my children to go through all this. And probably he was comfortable with the way his life is, you know, getting that salary and just pay bills and buy food, semo and rice, and you are okay. Yeah, semo and rice, with the way Nigerians call their, you know, their traditional food. For those of you who are not Nigerians, yeah. But I wanted more. I wanted more, not in the terms of greedy, right? Because I loved him the way he was, in terms of, I didn't marry him because he was rich. He wasn't rich when I married him, so it wasn't about the money. But I was hardworking. I was willing to put in all the works to, you know, bring our family to that place where we are comfortable, and we are also going to give our children opportunity. You know what it means to, you know, be able to have a choice in the world we are living today. In able to, to be able to have a choice, to be able to have a say. You know, you will be in a place where you don't have mouth to say, you don't have a say, you are regarded as nobody. I don't want that for my children. I want my children to be able to be educated. I want my children to be able to have a choice, to make their choices in life, to have opportunities. And I can't possibly do that while, you know, settling for a life of mediocrity, a life of, you know, barely pushing it, you know, barely, you know, getting to the end of the month. You know, no. I don't want to live a life where after a week of taking our salary, the money is no longer enough because you have paid bill, you have paid house rent, there's no money again, and then you start borrowing from the company where you were working, you know, 20 euro, 100 euro, 50 euro, or maybe you start asking friends to support you, and by the time, next time you get your salary, you have to settle them first, and then the money after 1 week is finished, because after you have settled the people that you borrowed a month earlier, and then you paid your bills, buy that semo and rice, because that's all we do, and then nothing. And he wasn't really happy also because the family was pressurizing him. The father has a very big expectation of his son in Europe. The brothers are all expecting. He has 7 brothers, you know, a girl and, you know, 5 brothers, including him. So they were 7 in number. And imagine those brothers, they're all expecting him to do this, and the whole pressure was on him, and he wasn't that kind of person that really have that, you know, that vision of, he was just okay. He just wanted to be okay with life ways, but he couldn't be okay when at the back of your mind, you know, you want to, you know, satisfy your father, you want to satisfy your brothers. So it was like, it was crazy. It was crazy. So yeah, in this case, my beauty or my intelligence wasn't all that he needed. You know, I believe that he came to a point, even he himself wanted to be left alone. So when a man wants to be left alone to fight his demons or to sort himself out, the more you are there trying to please him, do this and do that, you are just being like a nuisance to him. And I believe that was what happened. I don't want to die because I jeopardized my health. I had to undergo a laparoscopic operation. If you know what laparoscopic operation is, you know, I had to go. I had to undergo a surgery on my right hand kidney and my right hand urethra. You know, you get to a point in your life when you are so stressed out, when you are so stressed out that your body, your physiology will start to pay for all this accumulated stress. And that was what happened to me. I was paying the whole price with my health, and I almost gave up during the operation. But I believe God gave me a second chance for a purpose. I don't believe that God gave me a second chance in that hospital, on that hospital bed, for me to go back again and keep repeating what I have been doing for the past 25 years now. I think I should be wiser than that. And that was the reason why I quit. Did that answer your question? Let's go straight to the third question, which says, you are such, the third question says, but your kids, in this case, my daughters, need a male figure or the presence of a man in the house. Yeah, I believe this is the reason why most women are still staying in a toxic relationship, in a relationship that is damaging both to them and their children on an emotional level, on psychological level, and also in their physiology, right? Well, I prefer to have the presence of a man in the house who will be like a role model for my children, you know, who will show them what it means to respect their mother, who will show them what it means to, you know, love a woman, marry a woman. In that case, in my own case, I wasn't having that role model for my children. As I said in the beginning of the video, I was damaging my children. I was damaging them here, I was damaging them here. I was raising them up confused because we are living in a Western world. We are in Europe, and they go to school, they see other families, you know, Italian families. Not that Italian families don't have problems. We all have problems. In all the races, there is always issues, you know, in terms of marriage. There's no perfect, you know, there's no perfect marriage. So that's apart. But at least I believe that my children are like beginning to ask questions, especially the two grown-up ones. They are like asking questions. They are beginning to, you know, question. We get to a point one day, my daughter, the first one, she's now 24 years. Tomorrow is her birthday. And she said to me, "Mom, I will never marry a black man." That broke my heart because I'm not a racist and I don't want to, this is not what this video is all about, but I would love my daughter to marry from my, you know, my race. But if she has to bring in any other race tomorrow, I will support her with all my heart. So that is my own, you know, desire, not hers. So I should give priority to what she wants for herself. But I don't want that decision to be as a result of what she grew up seeing, you know, what she grew up witnessing within the matrimonial, you know, world. So it broke my heart, and I knew that I had to do something, that I don't have to keep waiting or keep thinking that my staying in such a marriage, I was doing a favor to my children. Because in this case, I was damaging them. I was giving them a wrong view or a wrong idea of what marriage is. I want my daughters to be able to look a man in the eyes and, you know, accept that man because he is what they want, without any fear, without any doubt in their hearts. I don't want them to grow up in a place where a woman is being insulted, you know, a woman is being shouted out, a woman is being threatened. I don't want my daughters to grow up in a family where you always have to call in the police to, you know, to settle quarrels. I don't want, the list is endless. That is a toxic relationship, and no mother will ever want to raise her daughters in a toxic relationship. You are not being a role model to them. You're not giving them a good example. And what happens is that tomorrow they themselves are going to become, I don't know, maybe lioness or thorns in their own home. You don't know what you might be causing them. You don't know what you are like programming into their mind. So yeah, did that answer your question? Thank you. Let's go to the fourth question. You could have been a more fulfilled and happier woman if you are to be with your husband, you know, seeing your daughters all grown up and big. Yeah, someone looked at me one day and said, now that your daughters are growing up, they are now big girls, I believe that you could have been more fulfilled and happier having your husband around with you. No. If I can't have him around with me, feeling fulfilled and happier when they were, you know, yet kids, when they were yet babies, I don't believe that them being of age, like grown-ups, will make any difference. Rather, I strongly believe that that would have pushed them, you know, away from both of us. Because it gets to a point, my daughter was like threatening me. I have to choose between their dad and them. That I should stop saying that I'm staying there because of them. I don't want to shed tears now. Yeah. She said that it is because of me that she's still staying in the house, that she might ask some of her friends, in this case Italians, to go and stay with them, to take her in with them and to stay with them because she's tired. She's tired of the chaos that if you're a mother and you're watching this video and you truly love your children, pay attention to this thing I'm saying to you. It's not about me. My platform is not about me. It's not about to impress or to show that I know it or I have it all. I have always said this in almost all my videos. I just want to be an inspiration. I want to motivate somebody. I want to empower women. I want to be a voice. Not to those who don't have a voice, but to that person who has that voice but refuses to use that voice. Who has a voice but is being intimidated, manipulated, and, you know, caged. I want to be a voice. I want to be a source of, you know, transformation. I want to help somebody out there. She said, if you are not leaving my dad, I am going to leave you. And she was 22 years by then. 21, precisely. So, if my almost dying on the hospital bed during the operation, you know, couldn't wake me up, my daughter threatening me finally did it. And the second one, when I shared it with the second one, she supported her senior sister. She said, even myself, I've been thinking about doing the same. We are tired, We are tired. She said she's ashamed of bringing her friends to our house. She's ashamed of, maybe I shouldn't say this here, but if you are a dad, don't ever make your children be ashamed of you. Don't ever make your children, put your children in that position where they are not proud to present you to their teachers. You know what I'm saying? As I said, I don't want to paint anybody, black or red in this video. I still respect his dignity as a man, and I will always do that, despite what he made me go through. I don't know why he did what he did, but there must be something behind what he did. And I'm not here to judge him. I have forgiven him. After all, he is and will always be the father of my beautiful daughters. I wouldn't have had those beautiful daughters without him. He's a handsome man. That's why my children are all beautiful. So, that's it. Did I answer your question? The fifth is, will you marry again? Well, if I said no, somebody might think because she's traumatized, she's still hurting, she's scared, she's afraid of being loved, she's afraid of being, she's afraid of somebody making her feel like a woman, she's of this, she's that. Well, I've come to a place in my life where marriage is no longer my priority. I'm in that place, of my life where I have other priorities now. I have my project to, focus on. I have a lot of goals that I want to accomplish. I want to, focus on these things, focus on self-educating myself, focus on, building myself as a woman, becoming the woman I want to see myself. I think the only thing that can make me to be more happier and more fulfilled in life is not just getting married, but becoming the woman that I was designed to be. Discovering who Augustina is. I don't want to die with my potentials. I don't want to die with my gifts. I don't want to die with my call, the call of God upon my life. I don't want to die with it just because I want to get married. But yes, I would love to have a partner. I would love to have a friend. I would love to have a companion, a companion of life. I would love to have a man to play with, to cry with, a man to fall with and get up with, a man that I will be, vulnerable in his presence, a man that I wouldn't feel judged, I wouldn't feel like, strayed, Yeah, I would love to have a man who will love and respect me. And yeah, I believe that there's no love without respect. If I should choose between love and respect, I would choose respect, because you can't love a woman without respecting her. Did I answer your question? So many questions, but I can't answer all in this one video. So I'm going to take the last two. Who pays all the bills? Who is behind your looking good and fresh? Well, the day I had this question, I laughed. Who is behind my looking good and fresh? Well, looking good and looking fresh, taking care of my health is my business. And who will take care of that if not me? Well, I have come to that place in my life where I set priorities. I don't like wasting my energies. I've wasted them, enough. In a 25 years relationship, I've wasted enough of my energy and my resources. And now I set priorities, I set boundaries, I set, standards. I set standards that are guiding me. And these are the things that helps me to manage my resources well, that I don't have to depend on any other person to sponsor my, looking, fresh, looking good, this and that. I manage my income so that it will be enough. If 100 euro is not enough for you, 500 euro won't be enough for you. That I haven't reached my financial freedom. I'm working towards that. You know, I want to have a better chance to make better choices in future, live better. This is not, you know, where I want to be. This is not the last bus stop. I'm still dreaming big. I'm still aiming high, and I am not afraid of the heights. You know, Les Brown used to say that people, you know, aim and hit the floor. You know, he said that the reason why people hit is not because they aim too high. He said the reason they hit is because they aim too low and they hit the floor. Yeah, I'm not afraid of the heights, and I'm still dreaming. I'm still aiming high, and I believe that one day I will get there. But for now, I have learned to manage what I have. You know, to schedule my priorities, and they help me to scheduling my priorities have helped me to, you know, invest more where to invest my energies wisely, to invest my resources wisely, so that I don't have to, you know, jeopardize my looking good and my, you know, how did he wrote it? He said looking good and fresh. Oh my God. So the last but not the least is, how do you see your future when your guests are all grown up and live the nest? Yeah. How do I see my future? You know, when my children are all grown up and are beginning to live the nest. Well, I see myself traveling the world. Traveling the world, exploring the world. I see myself loving, living, you know, sharing. I see myself creating contents like these ones I'm doing, writing, you know, creating courses, you know, becoming a personal, you know, I don't know, either coach or trainer. I'm yet to figure that out. I'm yet to figure out my dots, you know, narrow my niche, and one of the reasons why I'm here on, you know, in Malta is to work on these projects. I'm on vacation, but I came with all my, you know, my assignments with me. You know, I'm working on 2 projects at the same time. So yeah, I see myself busy. As a Sagittarius woman, we are never like lonely in life. We always, we are always up and doing, you know, we always invent things that keeps us busy. So I see myself living my dream life, living an amazing life, you know, being fulfilled and happy. You know, I see my future, a woman with, you know, a woman of inspiration, you know, a woman who empowers others. You know, I see my future bright, surrounded by, you know, beautiful daughters, my son and my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and not only biological children, but also spiritual children who God is gracing me or grace me to raise to His glory. The lists are endless. As you can see, I'm a dreamer, I'm a visionary, so yeah. And hopefully a friend, a companion, you know, by my side. Who knows? So, did I answer your question? If you haven't subscribed, don't leave without subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so. And as I always say, press that notification button to be notified each time I upload new content. And share this video. Maybe you could help save a woman. You could help save a life out there. Yeah, right? So, thank you for watching so far. I send my love, my light, and my greetings from the Malta Island. I actually am staying at Baluta Bay Beach, right? And Baluta Bay Beach is in St. Julian's, Malta. So thank you once again and have a blessed day. Don't hesitate to send more questions. I will be answering them from time to time. I hope this impacts somebody out there today. I hope this, blesses your soul, you that have watched this far. Don't, take what you have learned for granted. Apply them in your life, the wisdoms, the insights, the knowledge that you have, accumulated, the knowledge that you have gained, from this video today, because that is my aim. It's not just for me to, answer questions, but the aim of this video is to, help to impact somebody positively. So, stay blessed, stay on top. Bye.